Good day, folks. Some people will be happy to see that this is a computer video, and others will be happier still to see that it is a Macintosh video, because I'll be looking at this Apple Macintosh that you are looking at on your screen right now. I'm going to try and do this in one take. I'm going to also try and make it short, sweet, and to the point, even though I have no idea what a short video is. So this probably will not be all too short, but I'd like to do very minimal editing on this. What you're looking at is Macintosh Performa 550, otherwise known as the LC 550. They're basically the same machine. The difference is that the Performa was marketed towards the home market, as opposed to the LC, which generally went to educational markets, but also to businesses. It's in relatively good condition. It's yellowed, but not too bad. It's certainly in better shape than that Power Mac over there. Even though the case plastics are, from what I can tell, just as brittle as the case plastics on the Power Mac over there, because, you know, these things are now somewhere in the neighborhood of about 40 years old, so the plastic is not getting any younger. But it's got a problem, and I'm going to elicit some assistance in this video, and I'm also going to go on a little bit of a rant, because I tried to make a post about this and solicit some advice, and the post got deleted. But we'll get into that here in a second. First, the reason why I wanted this, even though it cost me entirely way too much money, I did not pay list price, we'll put it that way, but I still paid way more than what I would have liked. Same deal with that Power Macintosh over there. That's actually a Performa 5215 CD that will be getting its own video, but again, same deal. It's a Performa, was marketed towards the home market. The Power Mac was marketed towards educational institutions. The LC 500 and the Power Mac 5200, 5400, and 5500, and I guess by extension the 5300, although the 5300 is pretty hard to find, and I don't know if there was a Power Macintosh 5300. I guess I'll look that up and let you know later, but these were in the classrooms when I was in elementary school up until I hit 5th grade, when they were replaced, when the iMacs in the computer lab were also replaced, and the eMacs. I guess I should be more specific. There were about 4 or 5 eMacs that had replaced fallen iMacs that were also in the computer lab at the time. Most classrooms had examples of this, whether they were 5200, 5260, 5300, 5400, 5500, whatever. I don't know. I never paid too much attention to it because that kind of thing didn't really care to me. They were all basically the same thing as far as I was concerned. Little did I know that, oh, I was wrong. The 5200s are crap. Well known to be a road apple, with which this is an example right here. Again, this isn't really the point of the video. Most classrooms had these. Classrooms that had more than one computer generally still had those, but they would have also had one of these. There was one exception. I remember one classroom having 4 Macintosh 2s of various types, which is another computer that I've got that I'll be going ahead and taking a look at some point when I finally get the time and, you know, clean up some of this mess. But these always intrigued me, these Macintosh LC/Performa 500s, because I never really used them, never really saw them powered on. Usually they were just in this state, turned off, and if you wanted to use the computer, you used the Power Mac, because they were newer and faster, even though that's not necessarily true, at least in the case of the 5200s. This machine was billed as working. There were pictures in the listing that showed it working. But it's not working now, even though it arrived in one piece, unlike that, which does work. Let me show you the symptom. I've got the keyboard plugged in right at the back there. There's 2 ADB ports. I don't know if it really matters which one the keyboard's plugged into. It's plugged into that. This, by the way, is the keyboard it came with, which is not the one that was shown in the list photo. It's quite a bit older, but it doesn't really matter. That keyboard right there actually would match my Macintosh SE pretty nicely. It's just sitting down there. I'm actually going to unplug that because I have a keyboard here that's got keyboard lock indicators It's also got I think it's also got a mouse plugged into it. Not that it really matters for the sake of this demonstration. Now, this has been sitting out here overnight. I think it's been powered off. I believe it's been powered off. I'm going to go ahead and hit the power switch on it. You just heard the Trinitron degauss coil kick on. I don't know if that's normal, but some of the videos I've seen on YouTube of these things starting up seems to suggest that it is. Let's hit power. No chime. Should have chimed by now. And I can assure you that there is no video as well. When I first got it, when you would rock it back and forth, of course now it's not doing it because why would it do it on video? But when you would rock it back and forth, the speakers would crackle, which suggested to me that there was a issue with contact on this. But you can see it's not really doing anything at all. And it's not because of the brightness control or anything like that. I can push up on this all I want, and it's not doing anything. Intriguingly, this does not have a CD-ROM drive installed. And I'm not sure I could install a CD-ROM drive because it looks like the button is broken. I'm not sure if that was a configurable option or not, but every single one of these I've ever seen has had a CD-ROM drive, so I'm not sure why this one does not. No real response out of the keyboard. Can't even hit reboot. Doesn't do anything. Keyboard just absolutely does not do anything. So the computer has locked up at this point and will not go any further. So I've already taken the back off. It looks pretty daunting in there because, again, I don't want to break the case plastics. I've reseated the motherboard several times. I guess it's not a motherboard, it's a logic board. But what I would like to know is how I would get the rest of the way into the machine. Because if you pull this back panel off, this entire back cover comes off, reveals the monitor. It also reveals basically the power supply. But everything else is housed inside basically a giant cage. You can kind of see it there. You see the metal EMI shield in there. And I'm wondering how you get to that so I can figure out what the connection point is between the main logic board and the monitor, as well as the speakers and presumably all the other things. I am guessing that the SCSI, because this is a thoroughly SCSI machine, and the floppy are fine. But I don't know. I know that the hard drive powers up, but it does not do anything. There's no hard drive activity on this machine whatsoever. And now for the rant. Because I asked about this, or tried to ask about this, on a very well-known computer forum for vintage computers. There are many of them out there. There's Vogons, there's Macintosh Garden, I believe, has got some kind of a forum. But the Vintage Computer Federation is the biggest one. Some of you have heard of it. VCF. Now, they've got a stupid little thing on their website that I really take umbrage with, in the form of post moderation for new users. I believe the posting limit is 10. You have to make 10 posts before you can post freely. To which I pose the question, what year is it? What decade is it? I mean, it's not 1995 anymore. If you hired some moderators who actually did their job, you wouldn't have to have post-moderation. I'm sorry. It's just not necessary in the year 2023. Anyway, so I made this post on VCF, or again, like I said, tried to make this post. It was subject to moderation because I haven't posted 10 times yet. Keep in mind that this is the 5th time, or would have been the 5th time, that I would have made a post about something on this website, and I have gotten nothing useful. Actually, no. I'm sorry, I gotta rephrase that. Almost nothing useful out of any of them. First thing I posted about was an MB VLSI, sorry, not MB VLSI, but a BioStar motherboard, that 486 DX4120. I was curious because at the time I had a stockpile of DS1287s, not 12887s, and I wanted to know if there was a difference. Got completely ignored. Okay. Later on, made a post about that Packard Bell PB8810 XT class machine. Talked about that a little bit. Again, got completely ignored. Even though, like, it's supposed to be, everybody else seems to get help except for me. I don't know what it is about that. It's very odd. Posted about the Macintosh 2 that I have. It's a Model M5000, it's the original Macintosh 2. Had some questions about whether or not the battery voltage was of concern to me, basically. Did get a couple of answers for that, as well as for the video on that. But again, it basically just confirmed what I already knew, so it's arguable whether or not that was useful. What else did I post about? So I talked about that, talked about the Packard Bell, talked about the Macintosh 2. I think there was one more. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure there was one more. And then I tried to make the post about this. I was detailed about what it was that I had already done, what it was that I was unsure of, and what it was that I wanted help with. Some power trippin' mod deleted the post, didn't approve it. And I wouldn't be nearly so salty about that if they had been asked to actually tell me why. You know, hey, dude, I'm not approving your post because this, that, or the other thing. I mean, I probably would have still been a little bit salty about it, but at least I would know. I know nothing. So, now what? I'm stuck with this boat anchor that I now do not have any more information about than I did earlier. And the likelihood, if I try to post it again, is that I'm probably going to get a warning point put on me for no reason. Because this power trippin' mod seems to think that they're holier than thou, and somehow thinks that that's acceptable. Ridiculous. So that's the last time I'm ever going to even try and post there. I think I'm going to go take it somewhere else. Maybe I'll forget that all of this happened a couple months from now, and I'll start posting there again, but God, that's ridiculous. Of course, the problem would have been alleviated if they weren't just stuck in 1992 with their content moderation policies. Anyway, back to the actual subject at hand here. This is the logic board. The main logic board on the system. There's your chipset. There's your Motorola 68030. These are, I don't really know what exactly those are. Again, somebody on there probably knows, but I can't post about it because some dickhead thinks that they're just all that, I guess. I don't know what these are either, unless this is parity memory. This is onboard soldered memory. There could have been 2 SIM slots. This one only has the 1. It does have external memory. Somebody has fitted this with an external battery. Please do not buy the farm. That would be great. The one thing that really kind of concerns me about this is if you take a look, there's where the old battery holder used to be. It looks like there is some corrosion on this board. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like it may have potentially damaged some traces. The other thing, too, is that there could be broken solder on this motherboard. This logic board. I'm going to keep calling it a motherboard. Please forgive me. But there might be some broken solder. But I don't know if I'm really in much of a rush to go through it without actually knowing what it is that I'm going through. And again, asked for help and got dutifully ignored. In fact, I got worse than ignored. I basically got blocked. Or ball-locked, as we used to call it back in the day when someone just, had a temper tantrum and blocked somebody. Anyway, see some chips there on the bottom. Through-hole slots for that LCPDS. I've tried taking this memory module out. It makes no difference. It's possible there's a problem with the base memory. I don't know. This right here is actually the ROM SIMM. And what drives me nuts about people on eBay is they will pull these thinking that it's RAM. When you do that, the entire thing becomes a paperweight. Because you can't exactly easily get these. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see there. Yes. You see it says copyright Apple Computer 89, 90, 91, 92. This contains the Macintosh toolbox. I think it's called the toolbox, not the toolkit. But I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure it's the Macintosh toolbox. So, regardless of that, this doesn't work. I might give it one more try, but I don't think it's really going to do anything different. I'd be really surprised if it does anything different. This has already run up to 16 minutes. So my elicitation from all of you is, how exactly do I get to whatever is beyond that little card slot connector right there? There's obviously something behind that. I don't know how I can really get... I don't know what pins go to what on this card edge connector. I mean, those are probably power pins. But I don't know if there's anything beyond that, like speaker or whatever. I don't know if those are all SCSI, those are all floppy. I have no idea. At the end of the day, it probably really doesn't matter. But I don't have a logic analyzer to analyze every last little thing on this. And I'm not going to put that kind of effort into it anyway, because, quite frankly, it's not worth that kind of effort. I'm really kind of just making this video because I'm a little bit salty about the fact that I made a perfectly good post on a forum and it got deleted by a power-tripping moron who, once again, thinks that they're above everybody else. There is some broken plastic in this, so I'm kind of wondering, but I don't think there's any issues with the actual slot itself. I think that's okay. Unless there's supposed to be something over in that end of that connector, but I don't think so. Dropped my phone. I'm sure that was great for everybody on video to listen to. I do need to get some contact cleaner. I might try that. That's another possibility. But again, I think the problem lies outside of this logic board. I think I'm wasting my time trying to do any work on this logic board. I think the problem is with the connection somewhere to the power supply board, which will also drive the monitor and other things. So I'm going to put that back, flip it back around. I'll give it another try, but I don't think I'm going to get anything any different out of it. Okay, got it back together. Again, I did jiggle the ROM stick around. I don't think it made any difference because I've already done that. So I've got this keyboard plugged in this time. Yeah, it should have chimed by now, so no difference whatsoever. If you listen, there's no disk activity. It is just kind of sitting here, doing nothing. See if I can get it to crackle. No, of course not. So, sad story, I guess, unless somebody's got some kind of an idea as to what I can do with it. To maybe try and resurrect it. I found another one, because, obviously the solution is to just find another one. We'll see if that gets here. And then with respect to this one, I've already asked the seller for my money back. I have a feeling they'll probably put up some kind of a fight, or want me to return the damn thing. Which I'm not going to do. I've made it explicitly clear that I'm not going to do that, because I'm not repacking that, because if I repack it, it's just going to get destroyed. And really, there's no sense in destroying a perfectly good system that can probably be fixed by somebody that maybe has more patience than I do. But like I said, probably just a sad story. I may let it sit here and run for a little bit and warm up. I keep looking at it thinking that, oh, it's going to do something, but yeah, I don't think so. I think it's done. Quick postscript on this video. Not a happy one either. Well, maybe partially happy, because I am here to report that my post got approved that I was complaining about and doing all that complaining about. So I gotta rescind at least some of that, but I'm still gonna stand behind most of it, particularly the content moderation policy, RANT. But the seller of the Performa 550 went back and forth a little bit with that, and then they decided to send me another one. It arrived today. Here's the front of the machine. Doesn't look too bad. Definitely some plastic breakage, but not terrible. It's actually an LC575. Again, a little bit of plastic breakage there. Not great, not terrible. 3.6 and all that. Wait till you see the computer, though. Oof, maroon. That's painful. Really, it is. It's quite painful to look at. And you can see it's running. We have exactly the same problem, so it did at least allow me to determine that I think that main board might be dead. Or it might have some other problem, broken solder or something else. I mean, I guess it's still dead either way, but some problems are certainly more fixable than others, but holy crap. Wow, that's even worse than that 5215 over there. Maybe I should count myself lucky that showed up in one piece. I'm definitely counting myself lucky that the other one showed up. This one. What I think the difference and the problem was is the first one. Here's all the rest of the plastic bits. Not great, Bob. But, the first two showed up with this foam cushioning and plenty of bubble wrap. The second one, or that one over there, I guess the third one really, had plenty of bubble wrap, but they used this hard styrofoam instead. And I don't know what piece it was. There's a piece somewhere around here that shows it really well, but the problem with styrofoam, yeah, this piece, is that once you compromise it, it's not going to provide any protection whatsoever. And so it didn't. So, I don't know. I think I might just cut my losses, ask them for my money back. Or if they want to send me a third one, I'm going to go for a local pickup, because I can't keep doing that. Man, that's crazy. You know, the ultimate irony and all that? This is the back cover from the 550. The most common thing to happen to these is these tabs get broken. This is the one from the 575. I kid you not, the tabs are intact. I don't know how that happens, even though this shielding material was bent pretty bad. That's amazing. But, yeah, it just goes to show you that shipping these is no fun. I won, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I won an auction for another 550. I'm a little concerned about that one, because that one's coming from the United States. And, I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to show up in one piece either. I think that it's going to be even worse than this. It might just be a pile of plastic and phenolic shards by the time it gets here. There's a fly buzzing around my head, and I could hear the high voltage whine. Which, quite honestly, is actually more than I heard on the other one. I was also able to get it to respond briefly to keyboard commands. But now it's not doing so. You can hear when I tilt it a little bit that there's definitely a contact problem in there somewhere. And I don't know where it is. Yeah, this chassis is not savable. Look at that. I didn't even notice that. Which is pretty hard because that's pretty hard to miss. I don't know how I missed that. But yeah, that is destroyed. This thing is completely useless now. The tube is probably still good. So maybe that can go to somebody in need, I don't know, but... Ouch, man. If anybody's got ideas, I would love to hear them. But in the meantime, I guess I'm just gonna wait and see. It's too bad, really.